15 years after Enchanted, you have a sequel that you didn't think you wanted and probably still don't. It is called Disenchanted. It's on Disney Plus. Alonso, please tell us what happens.
Yes, all too aptly titled
Belated birthday sheet.
An Andalasian wishing wand.
Does anyone in Andalasia ever just say stuff?
Not if we can help it.
So Amy Adams is back as Giselle, and 15 years later, that dress business she had at the end of the first Enchanted movie, no one's talking about. But in the meantime, she has married Robert, played by Patrick Dempsey. They are raising his daughter, Morgan, and they have a child of their own. Morgan is now a teenager and kind of grumpy and less down for Giselle and her magical princess ways than she used to be. And Giselle decides the solution to everything is to leave the big bad city and go out to the suburbs. But that's not the best way to go either. However, when the baby's godparents, played, of course, once again by Idina Menzel and James Marsden, show up with an Andalasian wishing wand, Giselle uses it to turn the suburb into something that's a little more fairy tale-like. And, of course, as we know from 3,000 Years of Longing, wishes always lead to disaster, and it turns local alpha mom Maya Rudolph into a literal evil queen and brings out Giselle's wicked stepmother side, even as Morgan turns into Cinderella. Why? Who knows? But that's what we're doing now, I guess.
Nothing about this makes sense.
No.
Not a thing. Like, it is such a bad fit for Amy Adams to play even like the slightest hint of evil. Like, she's enormously talented and so versatile. And like the movies she has gotten nominated for Oscars for are all really varied. She's great. She can really do it all. And she's, of course, singing and dancing here as well. She has a musical theater background. You know, she's very likable. But first of all, the super perky fairy tale princess bit just seems like it's gotten old. Like, she's too old for it, but when she was young and idealistic, it made more sense.
Well, I think it was.
She hasn't. Go ahead.
No, I would say it was subversive 15 years ago, but now I think after Enchanted happened, that's become an easy thing to make a joke out of.
And there was just such sincerity, like such infectious enthusiasm to her performance in the first film, because she really wasn't huge at that point. Like, she had gotten a nomination for Junebug,
right?
A little indie that not a lot of folks saw, but she wasn't, 15 years ago, she was not the Amy Adams that she is today. And so there was like a youthful kind of effervescence to that performance that was just super adorable and so compelling. And you could get caught up in it. And it was totally sincere. And it just feels played out by this point. Like, it just feels like that magic, no pun intended, is hard to conjure again this time around. And then the flip side of that is making her evil makes absolutely no sense. I mean, I guess on paper, the idea that it's a fairy tale and now you're a stepmother, ergo you must be a wicked stepmother. It's just, the flashes of personality change are like never funny and feel kind of weird, almost like making fun of mental illness, like unintentionally so. But.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they brought Adam Shankman in to direct, which is usually not the play. And
he did Hairspray.
That's his good one. That's the movies I like. The first film, I think, is very much kind of playing around with these Disney tropes and sort of taking the idea of like, if an actual woman behaved the way that women do in these classic Disney cartoons, we would think she was a lunatic, you know? And then, but it also, I think, kind of played around with the idea of, hey, you don't have to just sort of stand around waiting for your true love to show up and sweep you off your feet. You can take a more active role. I mean, like, Enchanted famously ends with her slaying the dragon and rescuing the guy, which is kind of turning that on its head. And this movie feels like it's trying to undo everything interesting from that movie and just like dig right into the old tropes of, the sweet, innocent girl who likes to do chores and the evil stepmother and the wicked queen and I don't know. The first one felt subversive and fresh, and this one just feels stale.
Yeah, and the idea of Maya Rudolph as a wicked fairy tale queen sounds like deliciously mean, but the material is just not there. The songs, which should be a major component of this, Alan Menken, ladies and gentlemen,
and Stephen Schwartz,
the song that is their big showdown number, there's just nothing to it. It's kind of cacophonous. There's like this overlap of like not being able to hear what the lyrics are, and the melody isn't like one you're going to be humming afterward. And
yeah, when they have a big showdown song, I thought, oh, here we go. You know, this is like, this is the moment for like drag queens everywhere to like start taking notes. And it's not a good song, and it doesn't crackle the way that it should. And you know that Amy Adams and Maya Rudolph could sell whatever, and even they can't shine this turd into something that's, you know, that's golden. So yeah, and I'll tell you, watching, I had not thought about Enchanted in a while, so I rewatched it the night before watching Disenchanted, and it does not hold up well by comparison. Like the first movie, I think still holds up, and if you watch it and then watch this new one, you're like, oh man, where did they go wrong here?
And the effects look like crap. I think it's a much more visual effects heavy film than the first one, if I recall. I did not go back and rewatch it.
It does rely a lot more on CG for sure.
There's a lot of stuff here involving like swirls of light and stuff, and like a portal, and it goes back and forth between the animated world and the real world more often. And it kind of looks like crap. It kind of looks like when we saw School for Good and Evil. There's a lot of like people just like pushing out their hands and zapping blobs of purple and red at each other.
Which I didn't see, but yes, you actually kept me from watching it.
You're welcome. I couldn't keep you from this one, however.
Alas.
Yeah. So I'm saying like a 3. I mean, I don't even think that if you want to have something on in the background while you're hosting relatives for Thanksgiving or you're cooking, like this is not the movie to put on. Yeah.
I mean, the first one would be, but not this one. Yeah, I'll say 3.5. It is a real letdown. I mean, like, I don't know, this movie, look, like most sequels, didn't need to exist in the first place. But if you're gonna do a sequel to Enchanted, I think there are a lot of better ways to go. It's very telling that the framing device of this movie is the chipmunk reading this as a bedtime story, and by the time he's done, everyone's asleep.
Well, if you guys haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time to do it. We've got the holiday movie expert here. We're going to be doing all these kinds of movies all throughout the Christmas season, so be sure you stick with us. If you can see me right now, it's because I've got a little light posted on top of my Joby tripod. I love this thing so much. It is so easy to use, so much fun. You can put it wherever you want, and it's so cool looking. Check it out. Here it is. You can twist things around and attach it to stuff. So easy, so fun. And they have all kinds of great Black Friday deals going on right now. Any kind of equipment you need for photography, for video creation, for YouTube, for iPhone, whatever you need. They have these cool little mystery boxes. So you sign up and they send you stuff, and anything could be in there. Go check it out with the link below, joby.com. Everything you need to create and have a lot of fun.